Good afternoon, Las Vegas. This is Clark coming to you live with the herd. We want to be heard. I hope you join us. Call us at 702-493-5222 and you can be heard and you can be part of our group. What we're trying to do is make a grassroots movement here to where we can get massive amounts of people all across the nation, not just here in Nevada, but we need participants all around this country. And people call in from every community. We can go live on this show. They can have their own shows where they are, whatever they want to do, but we need to make a grassroots movement. We can no longer rely upon the people that we elect as office holders, or whatever you want to call them, congressmen, senators, you name it. These people that we elect to office, they immediately go, once they're elected, and they fail us time and time again. They run on these platforms that they're going to do this and that and how great they're going to be, and they play Santa Claus, going to give us this and do this. Oh, everything sounds so wonderful when they're lying to us and telling all this stuff. And then immediately they get to wherever they're going. They get an envelope at the first lunch that they attend. They get invited right away to go join the team. And then the parties end up corrupting them, grabbing them, taking special interest money and feathering it up in their pockets and buying them and buying the very reason that we elected these people was to go to represent us, and they buy them right away from us. They give them money and steal them. And they no longer represent us, they're just representing the parties and whatever special interest they're supporting. They give them money, so it's all follow the money. It's all despicable. It's a cancer on our country, and it's gonna cause this country of ours to collapse. Every country that's come before us, after a few hundred years in existence, they all go bye-bye. They all collapse because they end up getting corrupted. When you put people in power, those people don't give up the power easily, and they'll fight and kick it all the way. They won't give it up. You end up with people like Harry Reid, in there for 36 years. Can you believe it? And what has he done for Nevada? Hello, I'm waiting. Anyone can call in, 702-493-5222. Can anyone tell me what Harry Reid's done for Nevada for that 36 years or whatever it was? Service and doing nuclear options and the Cornhusker kickback and the Louisiana Purchase and everything that he jammed through the American people's throat to get Obamacare passed. This is the type of people that we elect. And the best display here recently is this show that the House, I guess, was putting on where they had that sit-in televised all over in a lot of the channels continuously. It was, I don't know what it was. It was an absolute joke. A bunch of babies sitting around whining about whatever, trying to get legislation or something passed about taking our Second Amendment rights away from us, or incorporating harder check policies and this and that. We can have all these things that the babies talk about, and we can put them in play, but they're not going to do one damn bit of good if people like the FBI or the Department of Justice or someone who's involved in doing research and checking out the backgrounds and so forth of people. We were aware of this killer down there in Orlando. The FBI had interrogated him or investigated him a couple of times, interviewed him, I guess is the right word, and then they just put him on a shelf some way, put him to the rear of the whatever, and don't do anything. And here he goes down and kills 49 people and wounds 53 others in one quick night. This is the damage it's caused. And we knew about this guy. And I think, from what we're finding out now and from what I think that the FBI was told and so forth, that there was some concerns about this guy. And when you find out that someone has taken these little trips to the Mideast, I think he took two in the last few years. Do you think he's going over there to the Mideast Disneyland or no? They're going over there for some radical purpose, I guarantee you. And this guy is the offspring of a refugee that got into this country from Afghanistan. Now, I can't remember, my mind when you go back 20, 30 years gets a little foggy, but there was some kind of Russian involvement in Afghanistan. There was a war going on there, I think, back then, and there were some refugees that were fleeing Afghanistan. And I think that, well, his father appears to have been one of those refugees that comes into this country asking for asylum. And this refugee that was fleeing, I think, may have been part of the Taliban. And I think the Taliban, if I remember, we were supporting them, I think. This is part of the other problem that we have with our politicians and these so-called leaders we have, especially when you mix politics in with the military. The military arm of our government shouldn't have a damn thing to do with politics, ever. We have to get this commander-in-chief business stopped. We cannot elect some dog catcher, or in the last case, a community organizer, which is just a rebel rouser from Chicago, to be elected somehow to be president of the United States. He wasn't even a full-term senator under his belt. He was nothing. He was an empty suit then. He could read a good speech, but you took away his teleprompter and he couldn't talk. And this is the type of person we elected president. Now, part of the blame, and maybe most of the blame, goes directly on the mainstream media who never vetted this guy. We knew nothing about him other than the fact that he hung around with guys like Bill Ayers, that was a 60s or whatever it was, bomber, radical dude that was against anti-government, and the relationship with Reverend Wright, this cockroach that screams in his sermons and everything, not God bless America, God damn America. This is what Obama sat through for 20 years of his life, listening to this pastor or whatever he was say things like that, anti-American rhetoric in his congregation. And this guy, supposedly this Reverend Wright, was Obama's minister, what have you. I mean, this is pathetic. How we can let somebody be the leader of this country is just beyond me, with no qualifications whatsoever. It's just mind-boggling. And it's done because of politics. It's done because of the two-party system. We've allowed two parties, the Democrats and the Republicans, to hijack our country from us. These are illegal, corrupt organizations, and they should be made illegal. We should never have any political parties in this country. They should be snuffed out like the cockroaches they are. And we can't survive like this, not for much longer. We're going downhill, and we're going downhill fast, and it's because of these parties. Now, present case example, the DNC. Despicable, crooked, the worst people in the world. These liberal progressives are liars. They don't have any agenda that's productive for the country. What their agenda is to make people dependent upon them. That's their base. The poor, the needy, the low educated. These are the type of people that's attracted to the Santa Claus of the Democratic Party. And this is exactly the reason that they're so pro immigration, illegal or otherwise, where they can get a head count in your bodies that are broke, that are going to need help because they're the perfect Democrat voter. This is what they're looking for because that cements their power base. And that's what the Democrats are all about, just staying in power and doing anything that they have to do to ensure that they end up keeping their jobs and keeping the distortion and lying and doing whatever's needed to remain in power. And that's proven by the superdelegate thing that we've been talking about lately because of the way this nomination process has come out on the Democrat side of the situation, where they had to prop up somebody for whatever reason. They had decided that Hillary Clinton or what have you was maneuvering her way into becoming the running for this year's nomination process for president on the Democratic ticket. Well, why the Democrats, other than being the stupidest creatures on earth, decide to allow that to happen? The most unqualified, absent of any legitimate agenda person to run for president with the track record that she has is just amazing. And they knew up front that she was not the best candidate going, that's for sure, that she had a lot of baggage. So they had a problem of how are they going to make her look good, especially coming off of 7.5 years of absolute devastation because of the empty suit they put up there in '08, Obama. No experience, no nothing, and an ideologue. And besides that, questionable whether he's even a Christian or what the hell he is. There's a big question as to where he was born. He sure doesn't act and doesn't look American to me. But at any rate, that's who they put up there. And now we're coming off of 8 years of the devastation that he's caused. And they think that they're going to be able to put up this Hillary Clinton and get her to continue on with these miserable, failing Obama policies that's been about 180 degrees in the wrong direction on everything he's done. So at any rate, how to make him look good, they had to dust off this guy, Bernie Sanders. He's not even a Democrat. He's an independent, is the way he's always run. I know he sits with and votes like a Democrat, but he's a socialist. And he's probably the worst person that had a job in the Senate or the Congress or whatever, and that they could find. And they dusted him off thinking, this guy don't have a prayer in hell of ever making it, so let's put him up there next to Hillary and that'll make her look good. Well, Jesus, I don't know, how did that work out, folks? He damn near won, and because Hillary is so bad. I mean, a guy like Bernie Sanders can't even make her look good because she's so bad. It's really, really pathetic. And this is for 47% of the people of this country. This is your party, the Democrat Despicable National Committee with Debbie Wasserman Schultz as your leader. When questioned about what is the reasoning behind these super delegates, they're called, her explanation was, well, we had to come up with a way to defeat any grassroots organization that might pop up and try to dictate to us who our Democrat candidate will be. We couldn't have that, so we came up with a superdelegate process. So this idiot just spits right out, probably without having a clue what she's saying, and accidentally kind of spit out the truth. Well, that means it's fixed. These superdelegates are nothing more than people that with tight links to the Democrat Party and ideology, probably money raises. They're paying somebody off for something and give them a title of a superdelegate, and it's a reward of some sort. And one of the persons that was a superdelegate is the guy that just got convicted the other day, this Fracker or whatever his name is, that's going to be sentenced to jail in October, and I think he's getting like 5 years or something. And he did some manipulation with $1 million of illegally obtained campaign money, I guess. I don't know the exact details, but this is a Democrat. He was a big Hillary and Bill Clinton supporter, And this was the reward that they gave him by making him a delegate. Well, he's still in Congress. He's a sitting congressman. He's not resigning, even though he's now convicted of crimes. And he's not going to resign until October, I guess, when he gets sentenced. These are despicable, despicable people, and we have to get rid of these political parties. They are a cancer, and they will ruin this country. Just envision that you have a company and you put a leader into that company, and to saddle him so he can never get anything done, you put him answerable to committees like the Congress and like the Senate. On the Senate side, you have 100 people, let's say employees in your company, half of which are going to go against everything your new leader suggests. And then you have this other committee with 400 something members, and half of them, or maybe more, are going to go on the other side of everything your leader proposes. So how are you going to run a company when you have almost half of the employees and workers against whatever that chairman or chief executive office proposes to make the company productive? You can't win in a situation like that. You're going to fail, and your company's going to fail. And it just doesn't make any sense to me that we try to run this country that way. It's foolish. I mean, we have a bunch of idiots that have been elected somehow by mostly other idiots, to be honest, that don't have a clue about what they're doing or why they're voting or who they're voting for or anything else. And this is very, very dangerous for our freedom that we've fought hard for. We've gone through 2 world wars. There's been many, many a person lost, blood and treasure, as they call it, in this fight for our liberty. And you have to fight for liberty. It's something that other people try to take away from you constantly. And we need to be very attentive to what we allow to happen or not happen. We have to stay on top of this. We are the people that this country was founded for, and we have to start acting like we appreciate it, and we're going to do the best we can with what we've been given. And that's not what's happening. We're falling flat on our face. We're getting people elected to office like a Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, that are just despicable people that are uneducated, to be honest with you. They lose their common sense. And we have to have some people that we elect that have common sense. Somebody like a Donald Trump, he has common sense. His instincts are right on. He gets asked a question, he doesn't have any canned-in speech. He'll answer the question. No matter what it is, he'll give you a truthful answer, and that's it. Now, the media, the mainstream media, is so against anybody that threatens them and threatens their liberal and progressive mantra that they'll attack whoever's out there, and they'll try to tear him down. And they'll take what he says, they'll spin it around, make a completely different meaning. And this is what they put out in their papers and so forth. And the other day, Trump did a speech regarding Hillary Clinton's background. He really wasn't attacking her personally, although Hillary Clinton is so bad, it's hard to not explain her reputation and what she's done, and not being a personal attack is almost impossible because she's so bad. Every single thing she's done has been kind of like Obama. It's been destructive. Nothing's been accomplished. Everything's in worse shape now than when Obama got elected or when Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. Look at the Mideast. It's just in chaos. This is disruptive. It's causing the world a lot of problems. If you don't think so, just ask Germany, ask England, ask France. The people over there in Europe are basically just an inch or so away from the cliff. And when you bring in 1 million refugees into a country like Germany that are basically made up of different people from a very different upbringing than the way Germans were brought up. You're bringing in people that treat women terribly, that rape women just about at will, Uh, they don't allow women the basic rights of a human being. And these are the types of people, when you allow 1 million of those people with that ideology to come into your country, your country's in serious trouble because these people will never assimilate to be Germans. That's not, they're the furthest things away from any country that accepts them in, that the countries are just stupid that allows these people in. And here again, Donald Trump comes up, I think, with the real solution, a solution that'll work, is you don't allow them into this country. You may get some property over there in Saudi Arabia someplace, or East or wherever, and there's a lot of land over there, and you make a safe haven for these refugees to where they can at least live and take care of themselves for a while, and wait for the situation of their homeland. Hopefully, will get straightened out, and they'll be able to go back. I think most of the people, if they were asked, would want to go back if they were legitimate Syrians and not some sort of ISIS operatives that have been trained to be terrorists and attack the United States. Those people are never going to change. They've been brainwashed. Their brains are gone. They're now these attack dogs that'll strap bombs, if not to themselves, they strap them to their young children and send them off over there by the schoolyard to blow up. And this is the type of ideology and game plan that these people profess to be part of their religion, the caliphate, that Abdul Abba, whatever the hell this god is that they bow to. This is the instructions from that god that if someone is not of your Muslim religion, you kill them. You can't negotiate, you can't talk with them, you can't convert them, you just kill them. And these are the type of people that Hillary Clinton wants us to bring in 500 times more of what we are right now, is absolutely absurd. And we're considering to elect her as a president of this country is beyond sick. It's absolutely disgusting. That person, Hillary, is such a despicable person. It blows my mind. I know Obama's bad. There's no doubt about that. Look at his record. What's been accomplished under his leadership, if that's what you want to call it? Nothing. Unemployment rate, the phony rate that people on TV like Juan Williams was pounding on you. Oh, we got a 5% unemployment rate. Yeah, Juan, what's the black unemployment rate? For young blacks, what, 59% or something? And if you think that the unemployment rate is 5% or 4.7 or whatever they're spewing out now is accurate, you are a moron, okay? You're an absolute moron. We have the highest non-working participation rate we've ever had in this country. We've got more people on food stamps, more people on welfare. This country's broken. And this is the type of leadership that's caused this problem to surface. And it's going to be hard and difficult to fix this deal. But we have to start. And the sooner we start, the better off we'll be. We need to elect Donald Trump this go around for president, and we need to maintain conservative leadership in the House and the Senate. And then maybe we can start to march away from the cliff instead of towards it like we've been trucking towards for a long time now at a very fast clip. Obama has devastated this country. We've taken everything that's supposed to be one way and we've done the opposite. And we have to straighten this out. And it's going to take we the people, it's going to take organization, it's going to take a movement all over this country. I would like to see something formed like maybe the Herd or something like it. Do not call ourselves a party. We're not a party. We are the people, and we are what this country was founded for. That's us, and we are in charge. The Constitution put us in charge, and we're going to elect the right type of people. And if we don't like them, we're going to elect them out. And we're going to be vigilant, and we're going to be sure that this happens. So you need to call this show, tell us you're interested in participating, 702-493-5222, and join the herd. Be part of this group. We're going to try to get the biggest numbers we can, and we're going to try, that'll give us the most clout. And when we speak, someone's going to hear us, and our elected officials had better listen because they're not going to be working for special interest groups anymore. They're going to be working for the people that elected them. And the special interest groups can go to hell where they belong. So this is what my goal is get people interested in this movement, and just keep track of what's going on. I don't want to be a part of any political process. Believe me in that one. I just want to be able to have a little part of something to say in putting this organization together so that we can create a movement that will take this country back. It's been hijacked from us on so many levels, it's hard to know where to start. But take this groups that have been on TV, this sit down strike, like a bunch of little schoolyard hens or whatever. I mean, it's amazing how incompetent and incomprehensible these people that we elect to these positions are. It's just overwhelming. Uh, this Jim Claiborne character on TV the last couple of days, stating clearly that this was not about guns. Oh, this had nothing to do with guns. Uh, the rifles and ammunition and guns that the guy had to take out people is just absolutely despicable. And we have to have a guy like this Jim Claiborne or Clybourne or whatever his name is come at us with it. We got to take the guns away because we're going to have these terrible situations happen. Well, I got a solution how we stop those terrible solutions. When these guys are out shopping around for some kind of a mosque or some place they can go attack, let them, go whatever. But we need equipment. We need to be able to follow them. We need to track them, and we need to find out where their headquarters are. And then we need to do something. We need to stop these cockroaches from existence. We have to get rid of them. The American people that believe in America, and they should be the only ones that we allow in America. You have to have a reason for being here, and you have to be acceptable to our way of life, or don't come. We've created the greatest country in the world, the most productive, the best standard of living, and slowly but surely, everything is getting away from us because of the progressive liberal movement. It's just despicable, and it's just absolutely a cancer on our American way of life. Is hard, and as many people have been killed in the endeavor to protect our liberties. It's just shameful that as a base of people of 47%, whatever the liberal progressives think they control, it's just pathetic that these people are anti-American and they don't think about America first. And we have to be, like Obama thinks that he can win this war with ISIS, people that are over there in the Mideast cutting off Christians' heads. We can negotiate with those people. You're a damn fool. When you come on, you say, it takes words, not guns, to win a war against terrorism. Like you're going to win a war of words when these people would rather cut off your head than let you breathe another breath. These people are maniacs. And there's only one thing you can do with a maniac. You kick them off the cliff and you get rid of them. And to do otherwise is foolish. So we have to get rid of these stupid leaders that we've elected into these positions. They've allowed the country to be hijacked from we the people, and we have to get this country back. We have to restore the greatest country in the world, the one that's done more for anybody, and to get it to the position where our generations coming up behind us, we'll leave them a better world than what we had. Right now, we're teetering on leaving the generations worse off than what we were, and that's just a despicable, uh, uh, a despicable attitude and a despicable way that we're going to leave our children. It's unpatriotic. We have to do what's right. And when we listen to these people like Claiborne saying that this wasn't an issue about guns, this was, or terrorists wasn't an issue about, it's about the guns. We have to get the guns away from the people. I mean, the guy is a maniac, a maniac. Can you imagine? Guns are for people's protection. If you had invented the first gun and you had the only gun, if you remember not that long ago, back in the wars that really were predated this country's founding, when we were fighting the English and the French and everybody, we had weapons to where you could shoot one bullet at a time, and then you had to do some things to your gun and reload it and stuff, and then you could shoot another one of these little musket balls or whatever, and that was the way you fought wars. Now, if somebody back then had a Gatling gun at their disposal, I tell you what, they would have won the war because you would have wiped out everybody, and that's the answer to the problems we're having now. We have to think and use common sense. If Hitler had the first gun, we'd all be speaking German right now because he's a bad guy and he would be the only one with a gun. When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor and killed a lot of our innocent sailors and military men, we had to end that war, and we had perfected the bomb, and we dropped two of them, one on Nagasaki and one on Osaka or something like that, and we ended the war. Those two bombs ended the war and killed a couple 100,000 people, and probably killed a lot more since then because of the fallout from the radiation. And that's created when you blow up one of these atom bombs with the mushroom cloud and all that. But this is what's happened when you have people attack you, like in Pearl Harbor. The Germans, they had plans to take over the world, I guess, and they were going to do it. And we dropped two bombs on them that we had developed, and that was the end of the war. Brought them right to the table, shaking in their boots. Where do I sign? Where do I sign? So, anyways, the peace was made. That was the end of the war. Now, a country like Germany under Adolf Hitler would have taken the position that they had this most powerful weapon ever created, and they would have taken over the world with it. And this is what we would have all ended up being, people of the world, but they're the Spanish world. And not very productive for producers like the American people are today. So we need to really do some things here. We need to pay attention to common sense. Now, if you have the only gun and you're a bad person, you're going to do a lot of damage to the world. However, if there's someone else that has guns, you're not the only one, and these are good people that have the guns. What are you, little old bad guy, going to do with your gun? How far are you going to get? You're going to be pushing up daisies in pretty quick order if you try to do something against those other people that have weapons, especially a better weapon. The bombs we dropped on Pearl Harbor have never been used before or again, for or against them, because nobody had developed this. And the best country that developed it was the best country, us. We weren't going to take advantage of that situation and try to take over the world like a lot of the dictators and evil people that came before us would do. Stalin and all those names. And, these are despicable people. Thank God for America. And honestly, thank God for Trump. He's going to try to make America great again. I think he'll make progress in leaps and bounds. He's already done some pretty amazing things, the way he took on 16 or 17 other candidates and just mopped up the floor with them, secured the nomination a good 2 months before the process, or maybe 3 months. But it was world beating, I'll tell you that. Got all the pundits and all these smart people all confused and upset, didn't know which end was up. You had Charles Krauthammer all mixed up. Uh, it's something else what's going on. It's something to watch, I'll tell you that. And I hope, I pray that what's going to come out is going to be all good. And I don't see with Donald Trump in it how it could be anything else, because he's going to make America great again. Then what kind of a legacy will he leave his children? That's why these people that bitch about him, say he's going to drop out, he doesn't really want to win, and all this stuff are just blowing smoke. And they're afraid that they'll be run out of Dodge. And I think I'll go to Washington, D.C. in January when Trump gets sworn in, and I'm going to watch how many U-Haul trucks I can spot leaving town. Because tell you what, there won't be a U-Haul left anywhere around there for miles and miles. They're all going to be moving these special interest groups, these czars, whatever they were or are, or what have you, appointed by this despicable Obama, like Van Jones. We ran him out of town, but he's still hanging around doing stuff. Just pathetic. He had some really wacko things to say the other day. He's a wacko bird. We've got to listen to these people only to the point by using your common sense that you can see what dinosaurs they are. They're clueless. They're bought and paid for, and they don't have any idea anymore what common sense is. They just don't. That sit in. What a bunch. We're starting to look like London over here. You ever seen those meetings in their ruling house, whatever it is? They're pounding on tables and acting like maniacs and crazy stuff. And it seems like that's where we were going the other day when they're chanting, "We will overcome." What a bunch of idiots. These are the type of people that we elect. We need to get rid of these bastards and get rid of them quick. They need to go. They're not competent. There's a say that I've been very aware of for a long time. I've done businesses, deal with bureaucrats, and I'll tell you what, there are absolute different people that not. If they had if someone did bureaucratic positions who's supposed to have this thing to do, and who is in charge of finding these people has always kind of amazed me, because how do you grounds for hiring them? What is it? It's like they want to wear blinders and them, except for what the other people want them to see. They don't smell any rats. They don't analyze what they're told to do. They will, but what are they being asked to do? They have no idea. I'm not that type. Never have been. So people like me, people that I've always been accused of having an abundance of common sense, which I guess I wear that proudly because I think I do. I can usually see if things make sense. And if they don't, I say so. And I watch so. I said way back when, even before Rush Limbaugh was saying that he hopes President Obama fails, I was saying from the first second I heard him open his mouth, I said, this guy's an empty suit. He don't have anything to say. He's running with all this claptrap that comes out. It's like you pull out one of those strings, in a doll. You pull it behind your neck, and then you just spew out all this political sayings and stuff. Just a bunch of crap. It don't mean anything. And this is the type of campaign that Obama ran. The mainstream media never asked any questions. And then you have Hillary now, but basically doing the same thing, not coming out with anything of any substance about what she'll do, because quite frankly, she doesn't have a clue what to do. She would not have a clue. And so she's just playing along and pull that string, let her rip. And then you have a Donald Trump who is genuinely interested in making this country great again and productive. And he's going to do his best to do that because that's his goal. He doesn't have any other goal. So, what's the problem with giving him a chance? How could he be any worse than the president we have now? It's impossible. Absolutely impossible. Obama's been 180 degrees in the wrong direction on every single thing he's done, from cash for clunkers to bailing out the banks, too big to fail. That's a good one. All this stuff is just absolutely insane. We went from the strongest country in the world, and our agenda's always been what's good for the world. So if a disaster happens somewhere, we're there with our checkbooks, seeing whatever we can do to help. And that's what we are. If we were a Hitler type mentality, any disaster in the world, Hitler would take advantage of it to take over the country. Uh, when we have leaders around the world that are basically our enemies, and they tune in, because we're pretty much a global world now with communication anyways, television, beam the satellites, goes all over the world. And our enemies, I can envision ISIS watching this sit down strike at Congress the other night and just rolling around in there, whatever they're in over there in ISIS headquarters. They must still be laughing today. These are our enemies? Jesus criminy. What a joke. What a bunch of weaklings. It's just absolutely crazy. And these are the type of people that we elect. And it's sick, folks. We've got to shake this place up. We got to get a guy in there like Trump that'll shake it up and sit back and watch the numbers. And he shouldn't have to answer to anybody that's not got America first. We have to start being smart on what we do. The only reason that we're allowing all these people to come pouring in here is because the Democrats want voters. They want to take away any chance of ever losing any election. They want to be left in power, and that's it. That's their agenda. Without that, they have nothing. And their agenda is not good for the country. It's terrible for the country. So we can't allow that to happen. Everybody with a D next to their name, we have to get rid of. We have to not vote for them. We've got to get them out of Dodge because, boy, they are destructive, sick people and no good for this country. I mean, look at this Merkel from Germany. She let all these million of people in that are all terrorists, really, a good percentage of them. Ben Carson said once that a terrorist would be guilty of terroristic malpractice if he didn't infiltrate these refugees with a bunch of terrorists. Of course they do. There was a senator from Arkansas that was down by the border in Texas the other day, and he saw just, lots and lots of people coming over, walking over, getting into the country. And they were looking around, and a lot of these people coming in as refugees or military age young men. Why is that? Where are the women? Where are the children? Why are all these men military age? And how come they don't have any identification? They have nothing. But when the senator was down there, his staff, whatever, started looking around a little bit in trash cans that are there in the road to the border. And there's a bunch of stuff that's personal items that have been thrown away by these various people coming in and trying to get into the country. And why, how did they end up in Mexico? These people from Bosnia and whatever these countries are. They're not just Mexicans that are coming. And so how did all these travelers, all these Syrian refugees, how did they get from Syria to Mexico? They had identification. They had things. And they dropped them off on the various, they hid them, they did whatever, threw them away, threw them in the trash, passports from foreign countries, and from like Saudi Arabia, places like that. And this congressman or senator was finding these things, pointing them out, and going, "Whoa, what in the world is this?" And people that supposedly, to be a free country, you have to protect your border, and you want your border right. You want it safe. You want it secure. You can't allow all these people to be coming in here with atom bombs. You got to get your stuff in order. So it's a lot of work to do. I don't think it's going to be. I think the work that needs to be done is very clear to me. I hope it's as clear to some other people out there. And then I hope that we can all come together under one umbrella, if you will, like the herd or something similar to the Tea Party. But whatever you do, don't call it any kind of party, because that opens you up to get slaughtered by the existing parties. They're not going to allow anybody to catch roots. Like Debbie Wasserman Schultz, the superdelegates are there to prevent a grassroots movement from springing up and taking over for the Democratic Party. They can't stand that. Same thing on the Republican side of the aisle. You have these idiots like Paul Ryan, Mitch McConnell, contemplating not supporting Trump, the selected nominee from all these voters across the country, in all these primaries and election results that have already come in. I mean, how in the world, where are we? What's happening? We've got to get rid of these stupid leaders, these people that go to the floor of the Senate like a Harry Reid, and they knock at the time, it would have been anybody, but they knocked Mitt Romney over his taxes, making this wild statement that he hasn't contributed to his taxes for years and years, 10 years. Romney never reported income tax. That couldn't have been a bigger lie. And when Harry was confronted with it years later, his response was, "Well, he didn't win, did he?" I mean, these people use any trick in the book. That's really all they know are tricks. They don't know any other way to go. They're despicable, low information thieves and crooks and always get their hand out. They want money, money, money. Just a very, very bad situation. But it is what it is. But it's going to take people like me, people like Donald Trump, people that have the moxie and the wherewithal to see some things get done. Because somebody has to do this. And we won't make the mistakes that were made before, where somebody got a little identified as to who they were. And so, anyways, folks, you got to think about this. Call in and let us know what to do. 702-493-5222. We need help. We need people. We need a massive amount of people. And just picture the Tea Party, the way that came from grassroots movement. I went with the Tea Party out to Searchlight when they had that get together out there one Saturday back, and I guess it was 2010 or 12 or somewhere around there, 10 I think. And that was Harry Reid's hometown. And the Tea Partiers showed up there in the outskirts of town. We were several miles outside of town. And in a big, just open desert area, and had a park miles away, all up and down, 550, whatever the road is that goes from Vegas to Searchlight and then on to Laughlin. Had, I'd say good 20,000 people showed up out there. The reporters, the mainstream media, of course, reports, about 2,000 people. Geez, I counted 2,000 people in no time. But took me I had to walk about 4 miles to get back to where I had to park. And then these despicable union people, I think they were carpenters union or something I heard. Sarah Palin made a visit to this gathering. She had a bus, and as she was coming through Searchlight, this union people egged her bus. Can you imagine that? Huh. That's what we're up against. Bunch of nobodies, bunch of nutcases. But that's what we got, and we need to get together. We need another group of people to formulate a movement like the Tea Party, and we need to call ourselves We the People, or the Herd, or something. Come up with some name not associated with any party, but we are the people. And let these despicable party people call us names. They'll be calling the people that this country was founded names. And I would say that's exactly what they'll do. I know that's what they'll do. And how do they pull that off? How do they call the people that this country was founded for names? How do they call the very people that elected them in office names? They're going to call the Herd or someone like that racist? You know, they have a lot of black people are becoming conservative in their ideas because they've seen over the decades that all these promises that these liberal progressives have made to them, they haven't lived up to. They haven't made any headway at all. Matter of fact, they're going the wrong direction. So some of these people are smart. They look, they see, and then they say, wait a minute, you liberal progressives, you're not doing anything for me. So then they switch around a little bit, get their head on right, and start backing some conservative ideas. And then what do all the liberals and progressives do? They start calling these people Uncle Toms. Now you become their enemy. Well, before you were their friend, now you're their enemy. Why? Because you're pointing out to these people that what they've been told from these despicable liberals and progressives are not working. Open your eyes. See the conditions. Are you better off today than you were when Obama went in office? And you know what their mainstream reply? Well, it would have been a lot worse if it wasn't for Obama. We would have went into a severe depression. How do you know that? It's like this other crap trap they come out with. Well, it's a save jobs. You know, when Obama's saying he's going to make all these jobs, well, obviously he wasn't making all these jobs, so they had to change the language to, it's save jobs. Well, how do you prove you've saved somebody's job? You know, these people are pathetic, lying bastards are what they are. That's what they are. We need to get rid of these people. We need to get them out. We need to stop these shows we're seeing where they have these sit-ins in Congress and whatnot. Come on, folks, let's wake up. Let's get these cats out of Dodge. They are despicable, lying bastards. And we need to retire them, like Harry Reid. Let Harry Reid and these people get a farm together. Let them go out there where they're trying to get all this land for the soul of the communists. Let them go out there and try to survive like Clive Bundy was surviving. Let them try that. Harry and his son, go out there and see what happens.